Okay. Hello, everyone. Good day from wherever you're joining from. So, this is Victory. I'm going to be the trainer for today's session. So, quickly, we are going to be looking at a topic that is tied to marketing and its self promotion. Because in every organization, it is always very important that this organization applies strategy of marketing in order to reach its audience. So, quickly, just like you're seeing on the slide, we're having distributing. That's the title of our presentation. This particular moment is going to be on distributing and promoting products and services. I hope you're ready to learn. So get your writing materials, your jotting materials, and make sure you are jotting. And definitely you're going to benefit from this class. So just relax and keep your questions coming. So quickly, I'm taking it to the next slide. So after today's lesson, we should be able to define distribution. We should understand distribution. We should understand promotion. We should understand the channels that are important as regarding distribution. We should also know how to compare because we have different approaches. We have the online and the offline distribution strategies. So you should be able to know the differences between the online and the offline distribution strategies. And then lastly, we should also know how to apply it because it's one thing to talk about it and it's another thing to apply this concept, apply the marketing strategies that we are going to look into in today's class. All right, are we ready? Now let's go. First of all, we need to know what is distribution. So like you're seeing on my slide, it says the process of making a product or service available to consumers through the right channels at the right time and place. I'm going to take it again. The process of making a product. So you're not just only, it's not just tied to a product, it is also concerning an organization that also have services to render. So it's not just tied to only organizations that have products to offer, it is also tied to organizations that have service to offer because all this are should I put it under the term products, right? So the process whereby we make our product as an organization or you make your service as an organization or a company available to your consumers through the right channels. So we would look into that as we continue in this class. So you are not just making it available to them anyhow, you are following the right channel and also meeting it to them, reaching it, making it get to them at the right time and at the right place. Now, it is most important that you know that there are elements when it comes to, there are key elements when it comes to distribution. Just like the definition states here, that you should know that there is a movement process. So the movement, making it available, the right channel. So that is movement in itself. The movement of goods or the channel in which you render your service. And then another thing you should also notice the storage and inventory management. You should note that also we have the transportation, logistics, channel selection. So it is always very important that any of your target audience. So if you have a plan for, let me give an illustration now. So let's say I am into cake production. I already have a target audience of people, let's say youth or young adults, let's say the Gen Zs and the Gen X, right? So people that are actively always being social. So they have this feeling of anytime they are having friends or families celebrating birthdays, they're always very ready to get cakes for them, celebrate them, right? So I'm already having a target audience. So I need to know the right channel. I need to know the right process, the right procedure in order for me to reach out to this target audience. So that is the distribution process in itself. All right, now we move into promotion. So promotion in itself is like when we started by saying marketing. So it's a communication strategy used to inform, persuade, remind customers about their product or services. Now, promotion is broad. So let us break it down, because promotion could be in different ways. It could be in the it could be in advertising, it could be in public relations activities, it could be in self promotion. Though we are going to explain this as we go further. It could also be in personal selling. So these are different tools, these are different ways one gets to make people aware of his or her product, or its product or services. So that is what promotion is all about. When you say promote, make known, make publicize, that people get to know and say, oh, there's an existence of this particular product, there's an existence of this particular service. All right, I hope that is clear. Yes, moving to the next slide. So why is distribution and promotion important? Because it is very important that we get to know, why should we even study about distribution, and why should we study about promotion? Now, the first thing first is that we've made a solid foundation to what these terms are. I've told you about what distribution is, and I've told you about promotion. So distribution, when you see distribution, what should come to your mind? Channel. When you see promotion, what should come to your mind? Marketing strategies. All right. Now, we should know why all these things matter. The first thing here is the customer reach, because you cannot have a product and then it is only your employees, or you as a CEO that has an idea of what this product or service that you render is all about. Then there's no way you're going to generate revenue, right? So it is very important. Sorry. It is very important that you get to this product or services that you render gets to its end users. So that is why distribution and promotion matter rather, because businesses with strong distribution reach more customers consistently. So it is very important that customers are aware of what your product is all about, or what services you render. And also, 85% it is stated that for your brand to be recognized, it is very important that you promote it, that you make sure people are aware. How do you do that? You promote it using the marketing strategies that we listed in the previous slide. So it is very important that you promote your brand, you promote your business. And also, in order, just like I said before, in order for you to generate revenue, in order for your brand or your company or the organization to grow in sales, because you cannot have a company or an organization and then you say we are just a charity, except it's a charity organization, right? Except it is a charity organization. If it is not, you are expected to grow in sales. So that is why it is very important for why your product or services needs to be distributed and promoted. Now, the next slide, we are going to look at the distribution channel. So when we started, we already said that this distribution is like going to give us the process, the channel. How do I get my product from the let's say the manufacturing state to the end users? So that is what we are going to look at right now. All right, so first of all, we need to know that we have the direct distribution, and definitely you should know that we also have the indirect distribution. So first of all, what is the direct distribution? When you sell directly to customers without intermediaries. So this time around, you as the owner of your product, you are selling it directly to your consumers. So to the end users, to the people that need your product, to the people that need your services, you are doing it directly. So there is no middleman in it. Yeah, let me use that word. So middleman is the same thing as intermediary. So you're not having a middleman as you deliver your product or you render your service. Now, there are examples stated on the screen here where you see manufacturers own retail stores. You see it in online sales through company websites where people get to come on the website and they get access to courses that are there, or direct sales force or representative. So we have some companies that have marketers that would go out to communicate with clients and tell them the need for them to register for a particular training course or whatever, and that is direct because it's from the organization, right? And there's even an example here now. We have a day's shoe repair in Surulere, sells directly to customers who visit his shop, keeping all profits without sharing with retailers. So this time around, it's just like you owning your business and you are the one generating the revenue from your direct sales to your customers. And so the revenue is coming back to you. It is not, what should I use, divided in percentage because of the intermediaries. So that is it. So the importance of direct distribution is that it gives control. It gives control, but it requires more effort because can you do it alone? But if you're starting, it is advisable to go for the direct distribution method. So yeah, next slide. So just like I said, that when we have the direct distribution method, we should also have the indirect distribution channel. All right, so now we need to see the difference between the direct distribution channel and that of the indirect distribution. So the indirect distribution, just like we said, now let us recap. We said the direct distribution is a channel whereby you connect with the end user. So the producer connect with the end users with no intermediary, with no middleman. Now, the indirect distribution would be vice versa, right? So this time around, you are using intermediaries, you are using wholesalers, you are using retailers, you are using agents to reach end customers, right? So definitely there will be percentage. You will have to give them their percentage. There will be a cut in margin. So there will be a deduction. So the fuller rate at which you will get your revenue as a direct distributor, it will be different from when you do indirect. But the benefit of the indirect distribution is that you will reach a wider audience, right? So now we have examples here. Chi Limited distributes Fanta and Coca-Cola through thousands of Lagos kiosks. Yes, it's very important that if you're a Nigerian and you're on this call, yeah, you understand when you see Pepsi, Fanta, Coca-Cola, all these brands, they have a big truck where these big trucks come from their warehouse, they are manufacturing industries, and where are they heading to? They are heading to the wholesalers, in which the wholesalers will also sell to the retailer. So you can see the distribution channel there. So that is not a direct distribution channel. You should know, if you are following me, that it's an indirect distribution channel. So yes, let's move over to the next slide. But I hope you're following me. All right, so now we want to see the difference between the online and the offline distribution. So we've seen the direct and the indirect distribution channel. So now we are moving over to the online and the offline distribution. So it is also possible for you to have a channel that is online and offline. So yeah, so now we want to look at the online and we also want to look at the offline distribution method. Looking at it online, it has to do with social media, right? Offline, see it as physical outlet, see it as a physical kind of meeting, a physical kind of connection, right? That's for offline distribution. Then the online, like I said, is social media. So now we want to see the difference between both of them. Now, the aspect we are going to be using will be the reach, the cost, the customer experience, the control, the speed, and which products are any of these distribution fitted best for, suitable for. That's the word. So we are going to start with the online distribution method. Now, its reach would start by saying that you have 24/7 access. Why do I say this? Because it's just like on your mobile phones. There's no time that you can't let's say pay for an ad or publicize or boost any of your posts. Now let me give you an illustration. So when we have, okay, let me still use that example I talked about. So myself as a cake vendor. So I have a brand that everybody knows or let's say just fewer audience knows that I'm into cake. And also I have a brand, I have a social media account, right? So you can't restrict me to the time I decide to make a post on my account. So it is something that you have 24 access to as the owner of that brand. So it is global. It is everybody. Anytime I make that post and I decide that I want it to reach a wider audience, I pay the exact amount of money that I need to pay, and it goes global. So it is like a system that is not restricted to the access you have, the reach you have, right? Now, when we look at the offline distribution, so now when we look at the online, we also look at the offline so that we can get the differences. So we've said for the online distribution that there is 24/7 access, right? And it can reach a global audience. So there is no restriction to the capacity or the number of persons that are allowed to, except you restrict it, but it is global. It is something that can go viral, right? But for the offline distribution, it's limited because you can't, like I think I said it somewhere, that it is very odd that you would go out by 12 a.m. to deliver a product or even render a service. It is odd, right? But you can actually stay in the comfort of your home and then you are on your phone by 12 a.m. and you make a post and it still gets to a certain type of audience and you can see the difference, right? Another thing we should also look at is the cost. So when it comes to online distribution, so just like when I refer to my brand, I have my social media account. So it is not like a physical space. So you don't have to pay for your social media account. I hope you're aware of that. So you can just create one without payment. But when it comes to the offline distribution, that's why when we started, I said that just see offline as physical outlets. So, sorry, I didn't see that. All right. So just see offline as physical outlets, right? So when you talk about the offline distribution method, you have to own a store, right? You have to pay for its rent because you cannot own a store and then you are not ready to pay for its rent. It's not possible. So definitely you pay for rent. Your workers you also pay. So there's a higher level of payment cost when it comes to the offline distribution. Then we also have the customer experience. The experience as linked to the online distribution method is that a customer can just pick up his or her phone and then just glance through a particular brand, glance through a particular company, and decide to patronize that company. So you don't even need to. And let me also give you this illustration. So there are some websites that you log into, and everything has been programmed. So what you have to do is make sure that you have a payment gateway, that you have a card or you have something that you can use to make payments, and then you are done. So they've made it so easy that the checkout system is seamless. It's just like you're on Jumia or you're on Temu. So once you've picked your product, once you've picked what you want, all you have to do is make payments and you get it delivered to you. So it is self-service. So you don't even necessarily need to talk or call somebody. It is just convenient. Whenever you want to get it, just like me now, right now, I'm trying to get sneakers and I'm like, where do I go to look for? I think I've gone on Temu, and yes, I did go to Temu today. So you can see how convenient it is, right? And that's for offline distribution. You have to interact. So it is something that you would even have to meet the end users, especially when it comes to the retailers, right? Because they're not just only seeing it in the producing stage, we're also seeing it in when it gets to the end users. So even before it gets to the end users, you need to talk to them, interact with them, communicate with them, market the product with them. And then they will even have to, if it's a physical product, they want to touch and feel it. If it's something that, okay, like my brand now, I'll keep emphasizing it so that at least we'll have an example to use in whatever assignment we'll be giving later on. So, like my brand, my cake brand. So if my if my distribution channel is not online but offline in today's dispensation, okay, I think it is even best I have two, that's the both of them, that's online and offline distribution. Because if it's not online in this dispensation, I will tell you that that brand will not go far. But if it's online, that's both of them. That's the best. That's the best, because when the customers come into your store or into your company, they get to interact with you, right? And you could also link them with your online platforms that they could also go and check it out. So yeah, that's it. The next one is the control. So when it comes to the online distribution method, you have full control over your presentation, because now this time around it is online, it is your social media presence. So even if you may want to employ staff, or at first you are just starting it out, you have control over it. You have the right to say, this is what I want, this is the brand, the code, the brand color, this is the kind of post we should make, right? You have control over it. And but when it comes to the offline distribution, just like the examples we talked about when we said Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Sprite, Fanta, when it gets to, the process, the channel of distribution, when it gets to the retailer, and even when it gets to the wholesaler, let's even start from the wholesaler, right? From the wholesaler to the retailer. So there are a whole lot of mix up that could happen there. So it is not really controlled. That's for the offline distribution now. So it is not really controlled, because it will only depend on the retailer corporation. And that is just it. That is certain, because you can't expect the owner of a company, or let's use this example, the owner of Viva, Viva detergents, to check out or send out, what should I call them, watchmen that would go and investigate all the retailing outlets. It is not possible, right? It's not possible. Then for the speed, just like I made reference to a website where okay, I gave you examples. I said websites like Jumia, websites like you know them Temu. So there are even websites, Coursera. There are so many websites that give you access to, you just click on the product you want, whatever you want, you choose it, and then you have access to making your payments as seamless as possible. And yeah, for the offline distribution, physical movement required. Yeah, so that's why you see trailers that would carry product to a particular location, and then from that location again, it is moved to the next location. So you see that. But for the online distribution, you don't necessarily need to make them make movement physically, right? It could be done virtually. It could be done via transactions, and then it is sealed, right? So now, just like when we're making differences between online distribution and offline distribution, many persons will say, no, I don't want to do anything offline, because it just have so many disadvantages. Calm down, calm down. It is also very important that you have physical presence. So it is not just only social media. It is not bad, right? It is not bad, but it is also very nice that you have both. That is why we should know the kind of product, you should be able to know the kind of product and service you render, in order for you to know the channel that fits it most, right? The channel that you can use to enhance the productivity of your company. Please give me a minute. Thank you. So now we can see that the online distribution here, the examples here are for digital products, right? Software, books, that's what is best for. Then for the offline distribution, you can see that in fresh. Exactly. That's why I often wonder. I don't know what's happening now in our dispensation. That I was so surprised when somebody told me that there is a company right now that they have a website that I think they offer services to people that want to buy fresh food. So it's like you go on their website, you get to see fresh vegetables, fresh meat, things like that, just fresh food. And they can even decide to, so it's your preference. You could tell them that you want it sliced. For the vegetables, you could tell them that you want it sliced. For the tomatoes, you could tell them that you want it blended, and they get it done. They arrange it, they prepare it for you, and then deliver it at your doorstep. I when I heard this, I heard it of it, and I was like, oh my God, wow, what an intellectual idea. Because I used to think that people like, though I feel that it's a matter of time, then before you know, definitely our world will turn into that. But currently now, I'd say people would want to, generally speaking, people would want to see first before buying, especially when it comes to fresh food, something you're going to eat in your house, right? You want to see it first. You want to go and touch it, feel it. So that's for fresh food. That is why offline distribution is also very important. Yes, so I already gave examples to that. So now let's move to the next slide. Now we've seen the distribution channels. Don't forget, I'm going to take us back again, the direct and the indirect channel. And we also looked at what? The offline and the online distribution channel. So now I'm moving over to the market channels and supply chain management. All right, so just like we made reference to the direct and the indirect method of distribution. So this is also linked to the market channel options. So we have the retailers, we have the wholesalers, and we have the agents. So now this is going to break them down to be able to know which of them suits your product type, suits your target market, and how can each of them make your business scale, or which one works. That's the most important thing here. Which one works? So that is why we need to understand each and every one of them separately. So now we move to retailers. Retailers direct consumer sales through physical stores or online platforms, best for branded goods with higher margins. So this is a direct method of distribution. So where consumers sell through physical stores, that's directly, right? But don't forget that we talked about the direct and the indirect channel of distribution. So now we are breaking it down to these different what should I channels. Yes, let me use that word. These different channels. So it's like the indirect method, right? The indirect method, when we talked about you not directly meeting your customers or your end users. So you have to make use of channels. You have to make use of systems, let me use that word, processes. So these are the processes that we are breaking down now. So these retailers are the people that once you have passed it through the wholesaler, it gets to the retailers, and then the retailers sell it to the consumers. I think that would explain it more, right? That would explain it more. So the wholesalers are the ones that buy in bulk, right? They buy it in bulk from the producers. Are we following? So they buy it in bulk from the producers, and then they sell it in lesser quantities to the retailers. And now the retailers sell it in bits to the consumers. I hope you're getting it. I hope you're getting it. So the retailers are the ones that have direct customer relationships, right? For a brand that is making use of the indirect channel of distribution. Are we seeing it? So the retailers are the ones that will get access to the clients or the customers closely, unlike that of the wholesalers, unlike that of the producers. Now, agents and that different, they are also intermediaries, but there is a technique that they use, and which is also that's why it is different from that of the retailer or the wholesaler. So for agents, they have commission-based incentives. So they are commission based. It's just like a brand could even decide to be an agent of another company. Are we aware of that? A particular brand could decide to be an agent of another company. So whereby you tell the other company that I can help you market your product, right? But this is the amount of money that you're going to give me after every sale. Are we getting that? So that is what they do as agents. So they'll have the market knowledge of the particular brand they want to market. They want to connect to buyers, right? And that is how it is driven. It is driven through performance. So most of the times they'll tell you the number of sales you get, you give us 10% for each sales. Are you getting it? So that is how that system works. That system works in the direct distribution channel. I hope you're following. I hope you're following. All right, let's move. So choosing the right channel. So don't say I want to follow this person because that is what he or she is using. You need to understand your product type, right? Don't say this is what my friend does and I should do it. Mm-mm. Understand what your product is all about. Understand the type of your product. Just like when I made reference to perishable goods, that's goods that are that fresh food, right? You should know that for fresh food, currently you need to own a physical outlet. So somebody should not even tell you, you know. So even if you have the online outlets, right? Even if you have the online system, you should also have the physical outlets. But there are some products that you can just be online and still make your sales. So it is very important that you apply these factors to be able to choose what channel would work for me. Are we getting this? So you can see that the product type is very important. The target market. What's your audience? What's your audience? What's your target audience? Right? What's your target audience? Are you targeting urban consumers? Are you targeting rural markets? So you should know for rural markets and you are selling perishable food, will you start? Let me even the only thing is that you can't respond to me right now. Or would you prefer to use the online method or online platform for rural markets? No, the answer is no. That is not possible. That's not possible. It won't work because if your target audience is to reach rural marketers, definitely you need to come down to their level. It's just like I'm having a plantation of palm fruit, and my intention is to sell it to marketers. That's people that sell in the market, for example, and then I am just online. So I don't even go out to reach out to people. That's the word direct distribution channel. So I didn't even reach out to people. I just sell it online. And my intention is to reach out to the marketers, the rural marketers in that area. How is that going to work? So you should know your target market, the capital available. Very, very important as well. How much do you have? Right? How much do you have? Sorry. You want to go global. How much do you have? So you have to start from somewhere. You have to start from somewhere. So don't discourage yourself by saying, I don't have enough capital and I want to do this. My dreams are big and I can't. Start from somewhere. Start bit by bit, bit by bit. So just like what is written here, say retail requires more investment than agent network, because definitely agents will tell you that this is the percentage you are to give to them. This is the incentive that they're expecting from you. So if you don't mix up with that, definitely there will be a problem. And another thing you should also understand is the control desired for that product or service that you render. How do you want it controlled? Do you want it to just be only you that have access to the or it's a brand that you want to um retain its principles and systems? It's something that you have to look into. What products do you have? What products are you offering? What service are you offering as well? And then you get to know, okay, how flexible can I make the control of this products or this service? Is it possible for me to just let it like go indirectly that anybody can sell it, or I just want it restricted to a particular set of people, marketers that would make this delivery accessible, right? So another thing you should also notice the geographic coverage. So agents provide wider reach without infrastructure costs. That is another thing. So do you want it to go? How far do you want it to go? How far do you want it to span across the the state of, or the local markets or international markets, how far, how how is the wider reach to getting this to the end users. So it is very important that you also consider this as well, right? Another thing is that we'll be looking at the supply chain and logistics. If you have questions, you could just put it in the chat room. The supply chain and logistics, right? Supply chain and logistics. So we need to know, how do we supply, and what are the logistics that needs to be put in place. What is supply chain management? We say it coordinates the entire flow of goods, information, finances, from raw materials to end users. Now, this is where I'm going to break it down for us to understand. So when you say supply chain management, we're not just looking at how it just the end users alone. We're looking at how it started, the sourcing, how you got that idea, the intention behind your brand or your product, the production planning, the inventory management, the distribution networks, the customer delivery. So even after that, you are ready to get the what? The feedback. So this is what we call the supply chain management. So it coordinates the entire flow, right? It takes you through the process, how it starts. So how you figured out that, okay, cocoa can be turned into what we call bombvita, what we call chocolate, right? We could use cocoa for that. So that is the procurement, that's the sourcing, and then the production planning, how it goes through the process of refining everything. So it is being refined, right? And then the inventory management. So we are going to look at, let me not emphasize it more here. So we'll look at it in the next slide. So yes, let's move. So now the supply chain flow. So now we are seeing from raw materials to satisfied customers. So before it gets to the satisfied customers, it has to go through a supply chain flow. Are we getting it? It has to go through a supply chain flow. There is a chain. And that is what you're seeing here, where you have the suppliers. So now the suppliers are the people that will still produce these things, right? They source the raw materials. They are the ones producing it. So it is actually possible. So now we are seeing it that it is broken down into suppliers, the manufacturer. So now this is already explaining to you that. So we are having the entity of people that supply the raw materials. So once they are being sourced out for, we have people supplying them to the industries that would want to what? Produce it. Now we are seeing it here, produce goods at the Lagos facility, and then it moves to the next segment, which is the distribution centers. Are you seeing the supply chain flow there? From the suppliers to the manufacturers, people producing it, then to the distribution channels, people marketing it, taking it through the means of the wholesalers, the retailers. So that's the distribution centers now that we're looking into. So we have from the distribution centers, they are then moved to the retailers. Then from the retailers, they are then moved again to the customers. And then don't forget, it still comes back, just like I said. In order for the manufacturers to be able to know that their product did a great job, it comes back from the feedback that is gotten from the customers. So that's how the supply chain flows. Hope that is clear. All right, so that's why I said I didn't want to emphasize it more in the other slide, because it's going to break it down as we progress. So it's step by step. Give me a minute. So we have for the logistics and transportation, we are looking at the different method of delivery now, the different method of supply. So when we say, let me go back to the next slide. So when we say the distribution centers, we are looking at it from the method of transportation, the logistics in itself. It is very important that you know what distribution channel, what channel are you going to use? Are you going to use the transportation mode? So now let us look at that. Let us look at the logistics and transportation. So we said choosing the right mode balances cost, speed, and reliability. So we have the road transport, we have the rail, that's this under logistics and transportation. We have the rail, we have the air, and we have sea. So you can't just pick any one like that. You have to analyze it first. Which one will work for my product? The first one states here that the road transportation is flexible, but due to traffic and road conditions, right? What about for rail? The cost of bulk goods and also limited route reliability, because in Nigeria, so that is why if you take note of the previous slides, we've always been emphasizing on our analysis based on Nigeria, right? Based on Nigeria's setting. So we are not using any other setting to make illustrations here. We are just using our Nigerian setting. So we have to consider the limited routes, especially when it comes to rail. How many rail tracks do we have in Nigeria? How many? It's so rare. So you have to consider that as well. And that thing for air, it is very nice. It's a very nice logistic method, but it is expensive. So you have to look into your capital. You have to look into that. But if it's something you can afford, definitely go for it. It is not, we are not speaking against any of them, but you have to consider it when you are looking for a logistic or a transportation mode of transmitting your goods or transporting your goods from one place to another, right? So, and most especially, this particular kind of goods should be physical goods, right? There will be physical goods. There could be clothing, like Jumia. Definitely, when you order products from them, they should have logistics. It is very important. So you cannot have a brand like Jumia and then you say you don't want to have logistics. So you need to know which one works for you, right? I was even I got to know that Temu Temu make use of, if I'm not mistaken, they make use of C. Yeah, they make use of C. So they discovered that they were going to reach to they will have to reach out to wider audience. They will have to reach out to a larger audience of people internationally. So definitely there are some goods that may want to come to Nigeria here that they'll have to consider the use of sea in order for them to minimize costs. Though they can actually use air, but they also make use of sea. So you can see how they are so strategic in the choosing of the right mode of transporting their goods and services. Okay, so now we move for the inventory management. So now we need to strike balance between having the right stock to meet demand without over-investing inventory. So looking at inventory in itself, you should be able to understand that this has to do with the production of your goods, right? The availability of these goods, that it is capable of meeting demands and not being too much. So it should not exceed its capacity. So like I have a number of 100 persons that are demanding for my cake, and then I have more than I have 500 or 5,000 cakes already available in my inventory. It is very, very risky, very risky. I don't even know which other example should I use, because I don't even think it is logical for you to be a baker and then you're having, it is not logical at all. But you get what I'm talking about when you say that you have your inventory management in check, whereby whatever is that thing that you are producing, you know that you know accurately after keeping your check and balances that this is going to be the demand. So I'm not producing over the demand, and I'm not also producing lesser than the demand. So you are keeping it moderately so that you don't get to a point where you're like, oh my goods have expired. And here, let me use the illustration for should I say perishable food? Yeah, that would work. So you just went to do let's use a local retailer. You just went you got let's say 100 what example do I use for that? You got 100, or you got more than enough vegetables. So you know that your clients or your customers that would come to buy your vegetables are not up to 20, and then you got up to 50,000 naira vegetables, and you know that weekly, or the funny part of it is that when they make these mistakes, they don't keep records. That is the problem. When you don't keep records, things like this happen. That is why we are looking at the inventory management, that even though you are a small retailer that is selling vegetables, you should be able to keep records that, okay, I used to have, so every week I have like 20 persons come to buy vegetables from me. And at the end, I still have, like, let me say, a little bit of extra. So I should not exceed it. Rather, I should even try to be economical, that I'm controlling the way I get the vegetables, so that when next they come, I'm realizing that, okay, they met the demand. I mean, I was able to meet up with the supply, and then I didn't lose in any way. So that's where the inventory management comes in. Now you need to be able to demand forecasting. So you need to analyze the sales patterns. What has been my sale process? What has been how have I been able to supply these goods? How high has the demand been? You need to be able to analyze it, predict. That is why we are studying this course today. That's why we are studying it. So you shouldn't just do things randomly. That's not a marketing strategy. You must be very, very organized in your calculations. You also need to know the stock level setting, right? You need to calculate the safety stock and the other points. For example, like a pharmaceutical distributor might keep 2 weeks safety stock, and that is true. There are some medicines that have limited time. So that is why it is very important that you calculate, you know, the number of the I mean, you might not know the certain amount of the number, you might not know the certain number of demands that you might get, but you can get a range that you don't exceed it too much, because once you exceed it, the wastage would also bring losses, and definitely that's not what you want for your brand, right? And that thing you should also notice, place orders when inventory reaches reorder level. So it is not a bad thing that when you see that the demand has increased, you place order, right? You place order to minimize total cost. Then the next one is you track it. You have a record, you have a spreadsheet that you track what happened this month, what happened next month, last month, how was it? How was the sale? And you should also take notes, especially when it comes to occasional season. Okay, my product, is this something that I need to publicize at during Christmas season, Ramadan, or whatever? And then I know I'm checking it. Okay, the demand will increase this period because there's a festive happening at this particular period. So definitely I will have to increase it by this particular percentage. That is it. So you must be able to strike the right balance, right? And the next one is the challenges we face in our system here in Nigeria. Just like when we talked about the transportation system, we said the road, right? The road would have been one of the best means for me, but I would say the problem is because of how, I don't know, I would the roads we have in Nigeria, 35, just from what you're seeing on the screen, just 35% out of 100% we can brag and say we have just 35% stage of good roads in Nigeria. So like 65% of them are are not even and that is the problem. That is the problem. And then when we're even looking at the inventory cost, we are calculating how to, because then the housing, the way housing system, you people are very, very skeptical about getting warehouses rather, because they feel the cost is too high. Even the storage system is something that we should even look into. Another thing is the delays, because most of the times the because the roads are bad, we get to have traffic, we get to have delays in the transportation of these goods to the end users or to even the distributors. So what are the solutions? Because me, I'm that kind of person that I don't like to dwell, I don't like to emphasize on spilled egg. It's spilled. So what do you do? What's the solution? That's why I had to quickly leave that. That's not what we are after. We know that these are the problems we have. So what do we do? That's the most important thing. So instead of us to criticize and say this is what the government has not done, we move. What are we going to do about that? Because we are going to keep on having businesses. We are going to keep on creating job opportunities for others when we establish our own businesses. So what do we do when things like this are going on in our nation, Nigeria? So the first thing you should know is that we have reliable logistics, right? We have logistics that even if we say the roads are these, the roads are that, they are still reliable ones that won't take your goods and run away with it. They have proven, we have GIG logistics, we have so many of them. Also, another thing is invest in technology. Thank God for AI. So you can't be scared of any of your products missing, because you are making sure that you are connected with the shippers of your product. You are connected with them using tracking systems and methods, right? That thing is, you should build multiple suppliers. Don't just rely on one particular supplier, right? The world is vast enough for you to, like you say, don't put your eggs in one basket, right? Let it be seen in various locations. Don't rely on single sources, right? This is very important. Don't be an idle person. And that thing is, supplier rather, build multiple suppliers. Then the next one is the optimizing of warehouse locations. Very important. Don't just say because you were born and brought up in a particular land, so you just want it to be there, and you want to go global, and you're saying I want the international market to see my product, and you're in one state. That is not possible. You must strategically look for places in other countries that, or in other states. Not even, let me not go further. So in your country, Nigeria, look for states. We have them even listed here. We have Kano, we have Lagos, we have Abuja, we have Port Harcourt. Strategic locations, right? These are the solutions, best practices that we could use. Praise. Yeah, that is it. You must place distribution centers strategically. And now the strategies to the promotion of your goods, right? Because in our Nigerian sector, we have a competitive marketplace. Everybody is doing something. So you cannot say now that you are the only one doing this thing. There will definitely be a competitor, except it's something so fresh and genuine. That's going to be very nice. But definitely you must always see somebody doing something that you're doing. But we must know the strategy in order for us to come out excellent. You must know that, okay, now we need to know the advertising strategy. So this is any paid form of non-personal communication. So this time around, it's not like directly a physical kind of communication with the customer or the end user. Rather, it is a non-personal communication. So it is something that you might not necessarily be close to the person physically to advertise. So it is something that can be done anywhere for a particular brand, right? You don't have to be there. You don't have to be connected or physically connected to the buyer, just like a direct method of distribution, right? So it is a paid form. That is why it is paid for, because that's what you see on billboards. That's what you see on billboards. That's an advertising strategy as well, right? And you could also see it in radio jingles. Because of our time, I'm trying to hurry up. in radio jingles, when you listen to the news, and then you are getting this notification, not even notification, you are getting this awareness that there's a particular brand that is doing this. So that's what we call the radio jingles. That's the traditional method. Now for the digital method in which we find ourselves currently, you see that in Facebook ads. You're just scrolling through your Facebook, and then you come upon an advert that thank God is even an advert. So it is gotten from advertising, right? So it's adverts gotten from advertising. So you see an ad targeting a particular brand, and you're like, wow, I love this. I want to let me check it out, right? And you could also that's the digital and aspect of advertising. Then even there are so many brands that make use of this particular method of advertising, that is digital method currently, and are actually having good returns, good revenue. And because definitely everybody is on social media, there is nobody currently that is not on social. It's should I say there are just 5% of persons that are not on social media currently. So 95% are all on social media. Definitely your customers are there, and they would want to patronize you. So that is that for the digital advertising method. And so we move to sales promotion. It is very important that you know that this sales promotion have different types, right? It's a method of making your product or services attractive. Now, let me use that word, attractive to your customers or end users, right? Because when you are making use of sales promotion strategy, you are ensuring that your consumers are getting they are receiving the right information, and they are also getting the right what's the word, should I use a gifting, or let's use discount, right? You are using that to attract them. So even when they need it, it is always very important that you get the right people, the right audience. And when you get the right audience, now this time around, you are going to use a method called incentives. So they are just like um giftings that would make people, that will entice them to say, oh yeah, let me get the offer is, I'm getting it for 10% discount. Wow, that is beautiful. Let me get this done. So that is what sales promotion is all about, where you are promoting it, you are making it, and because you know that reaching a wider audience, reaching more clients, or reaching more customers, the way you can attract them, the way you can promote yourselves, enhance it, right? Because sales is you are selling what you have, but to promote it, you have to make use of things like this. You have to make use of discounts, the buy one get one free, the cashback, the loyalty points, the referral, things like that, right? That's what is going to promote the sales. So even when you are selling but you want it promoted, these are the methods that you use and why it works. And definitely it has been okay, it has been proven that it works perfectly. Yes, you can see Temu, for example, they'll tell you 20% off discount, and all of a sudden you are there, you want to get it, right? Because it's 20% off discount. So these things work, they work. And you could also see it in the Friday flash sales for Jumia, right? Where people want to wait till when it's Friday and then they get it. These are ways to promote sales. These are ways to promote sales. And it works because it creates instant gratification. So people get to, yes, even though I don't know this thing now, let me just get it, because of it has been, the prices have been lowered, right? So it is also a very good strategy for sales promotion. So we saw that of advertising, we saw that of, sorry, let me go back. So we saw that for advertising, we saw that for sales promotion, and now we are moving over to the PR, that's the public relations. So even after you've used the digital method of passing out what your brand or your product offers. It is also very important that you use the sales promotion where you have to do the discounts, the flash sales offer, things like that, just to make people get excited, or so they are so ready to get this done. They want to get it because of all these things you are using. And then another important thing is the public relations. So this is something that should I say it is long lasting. Why? Because it's not something that just happens once, like when you do it quickly, you get results. It's not like the sales promotion. The public relation will have you to build credibility over time. Are we getting it? So you are building credibility over time, right? So when you have to create newsworthy stories, so where you meet bloggers and tell them, okay, they talk about what your brand does, just to create this credibility. You get, just to create it, that when they write press releases about your brand, or in newspapers like Vanguard, Punch, or even This Day, right? It is something that it's a matter of time. All these things are footprints of your brand. So it is also very important when it comes to advertising, the promotion strategies. Very important, the PR. And that thing is the personal selling. That is when you have to do the face-to-face conversations with your clients. But this is dependent on what you are offering. Don't forget that it is dependent on what you are offering. The It is also very important that you follow the right process. Most of the times, it could be a relationship process. Maybe you met the person somewhere and then you had a conversation with like that. Then from there, it grew, and all of a sudden, you are linking it to what you do, your brand, and things like that. At the end, you address concerns, and then all of a sudden you are closing the sale, because that is very important. It's not just to reach out to the person, tell the person, this is what I do, this is what you have to tell them. How can you solve their problem? That's the most well, how can you solve it? That's the personal selling in itself. How do you solve their problem? And then definitely, when you are solving people problem, they would want to close the deal. They will want to go for it, because once it solves their problem, definitely they would want to go for it. Things like personal selling method works for B2B services, that's business to business services. And that thing we should also notice. So we are seeing them here. So you have to pick them because there are different promotion mix, there are different strategies. So which one works for you? Which method works? Is it the advertising method? Is it the sales promotion method? Is it the public relations? Is it the personal selling? All these are the promotion methods, and they have different strength, and they also have different weaknesses. What you have to do is look at your budget, look at your target audience, look at your product type, and also your goals. Very important. You can also combine the methods. They are also very possible. They are feasible. You can combine the method. You can decide to combine that for personal selling with public relations. You can decide to even combine all of them all together, and you still get your results. So all you have to do is choose based on your budget, and that's it. So we move. Now we have the digital marketing. Digital marketing is a skill that is so highly needed by companies and organizations, because things have changed. When you say digital, so we are looking at it from the online system, the social media aspect of it, because that is what is actually needed in every organization. You cannot be a just a physical outlet and not own a digital presence. It is very odd. You cannot have a brand or a business and not have a digital footprint, not in this dispensation. So it is very important that digital marketing is taken into consideration. Yeah, so we have that. So when I said the digital marketing, like I said, it's linked to social media marketing. So you can see that for the Instagram. Instagram is a social media platform that we're all aware of. So we've grouped them now into different should I say different content. That's the word. So you get to know the content that fits each social media platform, because you can't use the ratings or the content for Instagram for TikTok. You won't get the same results, right? That is why separated them. So you see that Instagram are for visual products, TikTok are for viral reach. So you need to know the goal. What's your goal, right? And Facebook for community. When you see Instagram, you are seeing fashion, you're seeing food. But when you see TikTok, what comes to your mind? You're seeing videos, right? Videos that are, even though they are linked to this product, but this time around, we're not seeing pictures. We're not just seeing pictures, right? But we are seeing videos. We are seeing videos. That's for TikTok. And that thing is that for Facebook, it's most about building a community, building groups around your products and services. Very important. So that is why you need to make your research, know the platform that your customers spend time most in. So you need to know your target audience, find out the platform that they spend time in. Then you can start with that first, right? Start with that first. Post 3 to 5 times per week, and then you can start getting your analytics from there. So it is very important that you start. Start. That's the most important thing. Start first. Yes. So that's for the social media marketing. Then for the WhatsApp marketing, this is also a very nice strategy because now WhatsApp has introduced this community channel where you can actually create a community for yourself where you get to make people subscribe to your community and you post your latest product or your services there, and people get to ask questions and get information about your brand. So you can even see it in the broadcast section because that's a community. So you see the broadcast, you see um, updates about a particular brand. So it is very important that even when you want to start a WhatsApp marketing platform, you should set it up properly. So you should know that you are going to download the WhatsApp business app, right? That is what you should know. And when you've downloaded it, set up your catalog of products, make sure that you have an automated response so that when people ask questions, you respond to it promptly. You respond to it promptly. All right. Then for because of time, I'm trying to hurry up. So yes, so make sure your catalog has a should I say a huge okay, let's just start from at least we should be able to see 10 to 20 examples of your product or testimonials, right? It is very important, especially when you want to create a WhatsApp marketing platform. Then for the influencer marketing, this is when we talk about celebrities, apart from celebrities, people that have wider audience, that have followers, right? People that have followers. And then we can see the three different segments. We have the mega, the macro, the micro. So you can decide to pick which one is affordable for you, right? So the mega, we said they are celebrities and popular personalities, expensive but massive, rich. But you also, that's why you have to consider the fact that, okay, if I'm going for this mega, do I have the resources to push it? Because we still have micro that are still affordable and authentic. Then we also have the macro that establish content creators in specific. So that is why you don't just give it to any influencer. You need to check their background, check which one works for you, and then you go for it. That's for the influencer marketing. And then we are moving into the digital marketing and customer conversion because after all that have been said, it is very important that we are able to convert all these things to sales. We're able to convert all this to sales. That is why we are studying this. That is why we are studying this. Okay. Um, for the content marketing, the content marketing, that is when you are creating valuable and real and relevant content to attract a certain target audience. So you need to know what is your brand. Now, looking at HubSpot, now I'm giving you an example that is stated here. HubSpot, you should know that HubSpot, they are into the marketing aspect. So they what would they do on their social media platform? What would they do? Their content marketing strategy is to post things on marketing. So they will tell you, okay, as a marketer, these are the things you should do. Or let me use another example. We have for Red Bull. So Red Bull, you know that it is a brand that does they produce drinks that are energy boosters. So that is why anytime they are marketing their product or whatever they are doing on the social media, they always link it to sports videos because sports videos rather because they want people that are athletic so that there are drinks that will boost their energy, right? So that is what content marketing is all about. What is your brand into? What is the niche of your of your brand, and then you should know how to talk about this brand or your services on your social media um, account. So you should be able to pass the right information, not that we are seeing something different. So this is how you educate your audience and make them know this is what you are into. All right. So the online advertising, we have that for the social media ads, the search engine, the display and video. So these are the ways that we advertise online, where you post and then you run ads with the post. You get it to reach a wider audience, because seeing it only on your channel or your page will not reach newer audience, right? People will not have people that don't really know your brand won't see it. But when you make use of the ads, you get it to reach people that have no idea of your brand or have no idea of your services, right? Are you getting that? Then for the Google ads, this is when it appears when people are searching for your product online, your brand pops up. Things like this are very, very important. These are linked to digital marketing. These are linked to digital marketing. Same thing with the display and video, right? Have you watched a YouTube video where you see that the YouTube all of a sudden the video that you're watching switches to something else, and then you are seeing another thing, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then you see it changes to what you were actually watching before. So that is it. These are means of online advertisement, and you see that people are generating revenue from it. Yeah, because once I see an advert that is something that I'm looking for, definitely I'm going to go and get that. I'm going to go and get that. All right. So quickly, so it is very important that even when you're using these methods, don't forget your target audience, know the platform that they are most dominant in, right? Know the platform that they are most dominant on, and then that's what that's where you should target. What platform do they actually use? You need to research all this. And yes, for let me go back. So for people that say I don't have enough money, why not set a daily budget of 5,000 naira? Yes, there are some ad creative that don't really charge like that on WhatsApp. There are community platforms that like that. They could just pay like 5,000 naira, and then you get a wider audience, right? So it is something that you can start from small. Why digital marketing works? Because I would keep on saying it again, everybody is on social media. 95% of people on social media. So definitely people would always come online to look for things, watch things, and then definitely they will come across your product. They will come across your services. And it is the first, just like when I started, I said I'm looking forward to getting a sneakers, and I actually went online to go and look for. Are you seeing that? So most of the time people are too busy and they don't even have time to go to the physical outlet. They would want to buy online. And that is true. That is true. And it is better. It brings more return on investment than the traditional method. Brings more return on investment than the traditional method, because in this dispensation, that of the social media is what is rampant, and definitely you will need to apply these techniques. All right, now this is where we have been aiming at customer conversion, when you convert prospect buyers or prospect clients to your clients. So they are no longer prospects, they are now paying customers. So they are now paying clients, right? So that is why there is always a funnel, there's always a channel. There's always a channel. Before these people are converted to your buying or your paying clients, there is a channel they must follow. There's a channel you must follow. You must create the awareness. They must be interested in it. They must desire it. And the action is by buying, signing up, or taking your desired action. So when it comes to the awareness state, they need to know. That is why you need to publicize it, right? You need to target them and publicize it, right? And another thing is that build their interest. So let them know what is that thing going to, what benefit are they going to gain from it. And most of the times they need to see the value in what they are getting. They need to see it, because that is where their desire is going to come from. Once I do this, this is what's going to happen. Okay, then this is great. Let me try this. And then you see that it will definitely convert to sales. All right, now the branding and positioning. It is very important that even as you want to convert um, prospects to buying or paying clients, it is very important that you have a brand. You have a brand. This is the way customers will perceive your business. How professional is this brand? You cannot be on social media and then you're having anyhow, you just post anyhow. You need to have a brand. The name, the color, the logo, the voice, everything that makes you memorable. How many people see you? Just looking at the example here, you can even see the picture here. You can see the MMM. You can see the logo as seen in all this designs that you are seeing in all these materials. Are you seeing the logo? You are seeing the M logo. You are seeing it in every material that you are seeing here. So you should not have a scattered presentation of your brand online, especially that is the way people are going to perceive you. Looking at MTN, everybody knows MTN everywhere you go, right? What's their color? Yellow. So that is very important that you hardly see MTN go and use them. What's it called? Red. Red is for Airtel. So you must follow these steps. You must make sure that your brand is positioned properly. Because of time, I'm trying to hurry up. Building customer trust. It is very important that you are transparent in the delivery of your prices. Be clear, have clear policies, and make sure that the your customers or clients are on they have clear understanding of what you are offering them, that you have a honest communication strategy, not that you are saying something else to this customer and then this other customer is having a different understanding of what you offer. That is just wrong. You should have social proof. Very important. Don't trivialize testimonials. When you've done something for somebody, if you've rendered a service for someone, make sure that you keep record of testimonials. Very, very essential. Make sure that you keep records of testimonials. Now the next one is professionalism. Have a polished website. When I started by saying your brand, don't have scattered colors. Don't have scattered colors. Pick a color, look for a graphics designer to help you work it out and make sure that you retain those colors. And make sure those colors are clearly communicating what your brand has to offer. Now, it is very important that you are professional in the in your approach to customer service, because you are going to meet people, you are going to communicate with people. So make sure that you have this responsive attitude. Don't keep your customers waiting for 2 hours, and especially when you're on WhatsApp, you have a WhatsApp channel, people are reaching out to you on WhatsApp and they can't get to you. That is so wrong. You need to be reliable. Don't promise your customers that you're going to get their product to them as soon as possible and then they are seeing you in the next 2 weeks. That is very, very wrong. All these are very important. They are very, very important, because in order for you to drive sales, convert prospects to buying or paying clients, these things need to be considered. They need to be put into practice. Enhancing customer experience. Yeah, this is when you're having a product that needs to be on social media. Definitely, most product needs to be on social media. So when you see this enhancing customer experience, these are UI UX. So when we have the apps, right? Apps like the banking apps, you have your Wema, the OPay. Yes, let me just use OPay as an example. So you need to have an app that it's not hard for people to get their things done. It is most important that you try and make sure the processes are seamless, that people don't have able to get things done and to their rest inquiries as soon as possible. Don't keep them waiting for too long. Yeah, and make sure the customers' names are in emails. Very important. When you are responding to your client, make sure that you acknowledge them personally. Don't just send random mails. Make sure you acknowledge them by mentioning their names, and then they get to know that this is a personalized mail for me. There's this feeling it creates. Conversion strategies. So we need to know that there are things that you need to apply. There are in order for you to get, like I said, a paying client, you need to make sure that the processes are seamless. Remove friction when they are making use of your website. Okay, this is even an example here. Make it easy for them. when you're on Jumia, is it very difficult for you to access the checkout section? It's not hard. You have to make it seamless so that people that want to get this product are not finding it difficult. You need to give them different methods, multiple payment options. So if the card section is not what they can get done, they could also have access to bank transfer. So these are the methods to remove friction, to remove what do I use? To remove the delay or the restrictions when it comes to converting sales, because converting it into sales, because all these things can also cause can also be a delay or an obstruction, because when you want to make payment and then you are only seeing only one method of payment options, definitely you would not want to make payment again. You say, ah, that's a restriction for me. What about when it is scarce? You came to the website and you can't find what you are looking for, you leave. So all these things are also very important. Make your action-oriented buttons. These are for the interfaces in the website and also in the apps. Make it direct, like let everybody know what they are there for. Don't start using bogus English that would confuse people. Let them know what is there. By now, get started, let them know, let it be known. So now we are going to look at just one case study because of time. We have that of the fashion SME in Lagos. So our problem was that she had a boutique, but there was a declining foot traffic. So people did not actually go there anymore. She struggled to compete with imported goods because so she had a competitor, right, of people that were importing goods and then selling to clients. She was trying to struggle with them. So what did she now do? Now the transformation was that she implemented cost plus. So what she was her capital, she now said she's going to implement it, she's going to make use of it in social media campaigns. That's what you should underline. Social media campaigns. People were no longer coming to her store. But what did she do? She did the social media campaign. So she discovered that if people are not coming to my store, then there's something that I'm missing. And then she discovered it was social media. And what did she do? She targeted the right people, young professionals. Those are the people that are busy as well, that need all this clothing. They need it to go to work. So she targeted the right people. That was on that step she did. After using, before as she applied the social media campaign, she didn't just do it randomly. She targeted the right audience. And that thing she also did that made it difference, and that made a difference, was she added the custom tailoring services to it. So something that our competitor did not do. So that is where we are going to also look at. I think when we continue, we are going to see that your competitor, what you should do is access what they do and then see how you can make your own difference, or how you can do something that they are not doing. That should be your grip. That when you are emphasizing your brand, you are putting that up front, that people are seeing it. People get to know, oh, this is what this person does differently, even though they are the same, but this is the difference. Are we getting it? And then definitely there was a transformation process for this particular boutique owner. And yes, so what are the lessons that you've learned? What are the lessons that you've learned? It is very important that you know the costs, right? Before you start up anything, know your costs, know what you need, you know your capital. And that thing is that you need to understand the market. This is where I talked about the competitor. How much is your competitor selling a particular thing? You should know how much the customers will also pay for the particular product or the service, the value, because they don't just pay for the product features, they pay for the value as well. You should test and adjust it. Start with conservative pricing, because you're just starting, right? Don't just be so loud about your price that it's so big that people are like, oh my god, it's so expensive. You're just starting and you're already making it so expensive, right? You should be conservative and make sure you are communicating your value appropriately. Because even if you want to make it expensive, let them know what additional advantage they are gaining from it after you've checked your competitor, right? You need to clarify all this, communicate it clearly, and also stay aware of the market movements without blindly matching competition. So even when you are looking at your competitor price, you should also stay aware of the market movement. How is it going? Are people patronizing? Are we getting sales? You should stay aware of all this. And the key success factor is that you should have a strong financial foundation. You cannot be a business owner without an understanding of finances, because you need to record, you need to keep account of things that you've done, the transactions you've done, or you could even hire someone that is a financially a finance expert, so that you should have records of whatever you are doing. And it's also very important that you should consider your customers. You should know what they need and make sure that you are providing for their needs. Let it be linked to what they need, right? And align the pricing with the perceived value. All right. It is also very important that you are ready to adjust pricing based on market feedback, right? That's why the response of the customer is very essential to the producer. Whatever response you get from them, look into it. Don't just be static. Don't be rigid. Rather, be flexible. Clear value proposition. It is very important that you clarify what are the offers that you are giving to this client. Let this client know. Don't just say, I'm doing this, finish, and then you are expecting the client to pay a particular amount of money. Let the client know the exact value. Break it down, simplify it, state it clearly, and then you would see that definitely you would transform prospects to paying clients. So now the conclusion is that building sustainable pricing strategies for long-term success, it is very important that we understand the cost-based pricing, know the cost of all that you are doing, the market-based pricing. So when you compare the competitor prices, you also understand what the local market is saying. You should know that the everything you are putting as a price, whatever you're setting as your price, right, should be aligned with the value you are offering. It should be connected to, so you don't just put prices, you should state the values or the services that you're offering and how the customer is going to benefit from it. Don't forget, monitor your results regularly and adjust strategically. So now these are the steps for everyone. So you need to calculate the true cost. That I say you must be a finance, you must be financially literate. You must be financially literate. It's very important. And set profit goals, set the profit that you aim to achieve for this particular. That's why you must, I'll say it again, you must be financially literate. You must know finances, you must be able to keep records, because you need to know how much you gain for this particular segment, how much did you lose, how much can you step up with, you get that kind of thing. You need to analyze, you need to document, very, very important. You need to track, you need to review, you need to monitor your sales, very, very important, very important. So yeah, we have come to the end of today's class. How many of us are excited? I'm excited because we are having an assignment to do, and it is very important that you do these assignments, because this is going to prove to me that you followed all through and you were attentive to the class. If you have questions, you could ask, you could drop them in the comment section, or you could just send it across to us, and definitely we'll be very happy to respond to your questions. So the due date is going to be the next class session we are going to have with you, and make sure that you submit your assignment. So the assignment is on a project. So this time around, you are to select, so you can decide to pick your own business project, or if you don't have anyone for the now, you could just look at your setting or look at your local market and think of something that you could just come up with a business idea, and then that is what you should use for this pricing strategy project. Right, calculate the detailed cost for one product or service line. So if it's a business that is into servicing, you should know that it is going to be connected to the service line. What services are you rendering and how much is it going to cost? And then make sure you research. So all this should be stated in your project. Make sure you research the competitor pricing. So you are going to state it there that this was a competitor I discovered for this my brand, or this my business rather, and this is what I discovered. And another thing is that you could also come up with something that the competitor didn't do. So you want to implement that in your own business, right? That's very important. And that thing is that you need to still confirm, are customers willing to pay this amount of money? Because it is very important that when you are setting your pricing, you should understand if customers are willing to pay, because that is where you're going to drive your revenue. So another thing is you need to develop a comprehensive. So in this project, that's why it's a project. So take your time and do it very well. Develop comprehensive pricing strategy using at least two methods. So it is very important that the pricing strategy you're going to use, you will state it there. The methods you want to use to ensure that these people are are fixed, or you are fixed at a particular price, right? You are fixed at a particular price. And then the next one is create implementation timeline with specific actions. Yes, what am I going to do? So you are going to start with what the first method, right? Outsourcing, getting your product ready. Just if you had followed me, you should understand this, right? Getting your product, the production state, and how you are going to, if that is for products, right? Then for service, you know how you go about that. You know how you go about that. All right. Then the monitoring metrics, very very important, because you cannot have a service that you are rendering and then you are not monitoring how it all went, like how the delivery process was, and how what was the feedback from the customers, what was the feedback from the end users, and how did it go, did what was there a return of on profit, was there a did we convert sales? Was it converted into sales? Did we have, so all this should be monitored. All this should be monitored. What happened? Was it because of our competitor that we stopped having? So you should monitor the metrics and adjustment criteria. I would love to see this assignment. I would love to see this assignment, and make sure and ensure that you do your assignment. So submit your strategy document and prepare 5 minutes presentation. So even after you submitted, you prepare a 5 minute presentation explaining your approach and your unexpected outcomes, right? Because it is a project. So it is not something that you have started doing yet. It's not something that you have not tested the market yet. So you would also come up with what you are expecting at the end of this implementation. So once you've done that, I believe you will be good to go. All right. If you have any question, don't forget, make sure you pass the question. You can send it to us and we'll be very, very happy to respond to your question. Thank you so much, and do have a lovely day. Thank you. All right. Hello, I'm done. Hello, Titilayo. Can you still hear me? Okay, I don't know if you're saying anything, but I can't hear you.